So again, appreciate you guys being here. I am Lizzo. I'm the admin of Pride Punks 2018. I'm very excited today to talk a little bit about Pride Punks with you guys. And with that, we'll get right into it. Go ahead with the first slide. People take the longest possible paths, digress to numerous dead ends, and make all kinds of mistakes. And then historians, of course, come along and write summaries of this messy, non-linear process and make it appear like a simple, straight line. As you walk the halls of the Historical NFT Museum, there's story upon story and mistake upon mistake and dead end upon dead end of different projects that many people before us had made. Of course, the first NFTs were ID solutions. There's many different ideations and different processes of the NFTs. And as we walk through the storied history of Pride Punks today, you're going to hear much of the same. Pride Punks had mistakes. We bumped stubbed our toes and bumped our heads, just like many of the others that went before us. And we're really excited to talk a little bit about that today. Next slide. What are Pride Punks? Pride Punks were launched in June 23rd, 2018 as a celebration of CryptoPunks Pride Month and a statement of lack of inclusivity of Web3. They were created at a time when Larva Labs were traded for mere dollars and were intended to be a collaborative project to make punks more exciting. Next slide, please. So when we talk about Pride Punks, it starts with Dennison Bertram. Dennison Bertram was the founder of Pride Punks, a New York City man. The story of Dennison is very heralded, but there's a lot about him you may not know. Dennison Bertram, as you may know, the next slide, please, was the founder of Tally, Tally.com, which is a decentralized autonomous organization, which it's an interface that allows people to kind of host their DAOs. I believe ENS uses them and Uniswap uses Tally. He was also the founder of DApp Hero by BTC.CZ, which was the first Bitcoin exchange in the Czech Republic. This is 2012. So this is a while ago. He was one of the kind of quote unquote OGs and cypherpunks. But even more interesting, I think, is the art that Dennison created. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So we talk about Web 2 me versus Web 3 me. So Dennison in Web 2 was a photographer, and he enjoyed telling a story through the medium of photography. He was also a videographer and an artist and technologist, futurist, and really enjoyed telling stories through the medium of photography. Of course, he worked with some really great companies, and many people enjoyed his work, and he spent a lot of time in that space. Next slide, please. So this is Web 3, Dennison, right? So we had the Web 2 versus the Web 3, and we'll tell a little bit about Dennison's story as it relates to the CryptoPunk story. Of course, Pride Punks is a later iteration of CryptoPunks, but at the time, Dennison was a serial entrepreneur, and he was working in New York City in WeWork. And he had many different projects he was working on. And lo and behold, just adjacent to his office was a new startup called OpenSea. And this was something that had kind of struck him as interesting because, again, he was interested in the crypto space, and it was something that aligned with a lot of the things he was working on. In fact, he had collected CryptoPunks. He was a fan of CryptoPunks, and he had collected roughly right around 60 CryptoPunks. And at the time, it was a little bit of a different technology. The NFT was a little bit of a different nuance. He kind of liked it because it kind of was more of the artistic vein. A lot of the NFTs prior to this, we saw a lot of, trading cards or, identity solutions. But as far as the art piece, this is something that kind of was cool and interesting for Dennison. So he, at the time, because he was working in this space and learning, and he was a budding kind of a startup developer. He was really interested in kind of trading these, and so he gave away most of them to friends and family. And keep in mind, back then in 2018, the bull market, if you guys remember, was kind of full on bull market at this time, and these were selling for mere dollars. $100, $200. It wasn't something that was very expensive at the time, but it was fun, it was novel, and it was something that was new and innovative. So again, Dennison kind of traded these, and in fact, Dennison would host meetups with the crypto punks and in the local area. And he was very excited about kind of collaborating with these people. Now, many of the people that he spent time collaborating with went on to do some really neat and interesting things, or some of the kind of leaders in some of the applications you know and love today. But again, it when he looked around, he started thinking about it, and he wanted to, kind of his creative juices started flowing. And one of the things that's very Dennison was very passionate about was diversity and inclusion, and ensuring that that was recognized. Now, Dennison decided that he wanted to make an artistic statement, and so what he did was he started developing the first derivative, of the CryptoPunks. At the time, he didn't think it was a derivative project. He just wanted to make an artistic statement. So he took the CryptoPunks and he started fiddling around with the contract. Now, again, he was a new developer, and he was trying to come up with a creative solution to kind of create an artistic statement. Now, at the time, he created a wrapper contract. Now, the way that this worked, now this was very novel at the time. In 2018, there wasn't a lot of wrapper contracts going around. The original contract required that a CryptoPunk owner wrap their CryptoPunk inside of the PridePunk. So all of the CryptoPunk holders that wanted to transition their CryptoPunk or mint, quote unquote, a PridePunk, they would actually, you know, wrap the mint, quote unquote, would wrap their CryptoPunk into a PridePunk. It's interesting if you kind of think about it, if this project had minted out, what would CryptoPunks be? But of course, it didn't. What had happened was the contract had a flaw. So a few of the CryptoPunk folks actually started wrapping. And if you would like to go to the next slide, I think I have a display of some of the. Oh yeah. So again, just to go back, it occurred exactly 1 year after the V2 version of CryptoPunks. Now, we're going to be talking today, Frank. We're going to have a very great presentation about the first iteration of CryptoPunks, the V1 punks, which were launched June 9th. And then June 23rd, there was, the second version, and these were launched exactly 1 year later. This was launched during Pride Month. Now, keep in mind, Pride Punks and Dennison didn't want to specifically make an LGBTQ project. Now, this was and is considered by many a pride project, and it is much of that ethos. But it was more a statement of inclusivity. And when he thought of the rainbow, he thought of what was the best representation of including individuals and representing underrepresented communities. And this is why he chose the rainbow. So again, the mint didn't occur. If you go to the next slide, I'll show you in the This is actually the CryptoPunks Discord. If you go back into the CryptoPunks Discord, this is kind of the messaging Dennison had released, and at the time, you know, was met with some smiley face and a thumbs up, and people thought it was interesting. Now, keep in mind, it didn't work. And Dennison, being a serial entrepreneur, had a lot of other things on his plate, and he was doing a lot of other activities. So he put this one on the shelf, and he thought, I'm going to, try something else and do some other things. And he did. Obviously, he launched Tally and so a lot of other major, projects. But in 2022, we all know what happened. 2021, 2022, with the CryptoPunks. Of course, it became extremely popular, and a lot of the folks that had these were like, maybe the OGs of the space, and there was a lot of popularity and price appreciation with these assets. Now, Dennison, looking at this, he said, "Gosh, I have a project, excuse me, that I was part of this story. This is something that I'd like to share." So in 2022, Dennison had the contract. Of course, if you go to the website pridepunks.xyz, there is the provenance of the contract from 2018, and he had the artwork that was still there, and everything again was on the blockchain. It's a story on the blockchain. So he allowed the contract to mint out on March 23rd of 2022. Now, keep in mind, at this time, everyone knew who the CryptoPunks were, and the issue that we had was the way that the mint was set up. Is the mint was in sequence. So, as far as the problem that we our Dennison foresaw, is that technologists can create bots that can maybe take some of the more rare assets and kind of pick and choose which rare assets were desirable. And so, additionally, Dennison was very passionate about DAOs and creating, some reserve assets for the DAO. So the apes and the aliens were reserved for the DAO. Additionally, the all assets above number punk 9,640. I'm sorry, 9,672 were reserved for the DAO. Well, the mint went great. We minted out in 2 days, and then we had. Let me see if I can see the date here. What is this? 423. Oh, you can go back. 423. A day that will live in infamy. This is. We actually had. Dennison. The story goes, Dennison was just coming back from a vacation with his family, and he was required to kind of send the apes and aliens to a new contract. And what had happened, I kind of look at it in the light of, if you've ever seen the guy, he's got the bomb in front of him, right? He's got a red wire, and he's got the black wire. And Dennison had two buttons. Now, this is new technology, guys. This is new technology. And one was to take the MetaPunk controller and to send these assets to the DAO. The other one was burn the assets forever in explosion. And lo and behold, he cut the wrong wire. They exploded. Everything was lost. All the apes and aliens. And of course, it was a tragedy. At the time, the community was very upset because we'd lost the most quote unquote scarce and valuable of assets. So I did reach out to friends and try to get this thing resolved. If you guys turn and look, there's a man named Leashless in the front row. That's actually Vinay Gupta. He rolled out Ethereum. Hi, Vinay. And Vinay was able to help us kind of he and his team at Materium were able to look and review the project to see if there was any way we could save this project. Fortunately, after a week of his team looking, we were unable to save these, and we burned these. We allowed these to go away forever. So that is the story of the apes and the aliens, and we're sad to see them go. Next slide, please. We talk about that's a little bit about our history, and we talk about our present. Um, we have, again, a DAO that is funded, and one of the things we wanted to ensure that we did is we wanted to ensure that we figured out what the ethos of our DAO was, and we reached out and we found, people kind of chatting about what our mission should be. And the mission that stuck out was making history together for underrepresented communities in Web3. So we, again, just this is what we adhere to. This is our mission. We're very proud of that mission. Next slide, please. So again, our DAO, of course, we have a DAO. Dennison was kind enough to kind of set up the DAO, give us a little bit of seed money to get going. And every time that a Pride Punk is bought or sold, a little portion, 7%, goes to our DAO to support our mission, of course, to represent underrepresented communities in Web3. And we are continuing that mission. In fact, we have some great stuff that's forthcoming. We have a person named Clouds who is taking care of a lot of our giving back narratives and initiatives. So we're very proud of that, really excited about that. And again, that's part of our ethos and what we do. So we're excited to continue on with that. Next slide, please. All right. So in closing, just to kind of let you guys know, we're really, while we're really excited to share the stories, right? The stories in this museum. It's to a diverse audience. We're even more excited with the future and with what that holds and what we can build together. So thanks again. We really appreciate you guys being here with us today in the museum, and let's make history together.